What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and oh my lord, this weekend was just fire with DSP content. That's right, your boy Duty first started off on Saturday with a premiere of a Sky Gout, which is a new intro for my channel. If you didn't get a chance, it's actually out on my channel. I'm streaming today at 12 o'clock, so I'll probably play it. So if you didn't get a chance to view it, definitely check it out. And then, of course, yesterday was the epic meltdown of DSP. That's right, our boy Phil apparently lost his mind and decided to scream and chastise his children. That's right, because apparently they're not tipping properly or viewing properly, according to Phil. And I got a lot to say on this. When I was watching it, I got a bit infuriated. Initially, I got excited because I thought it was funny and it's content, but after just listening for almost 2 hours, because that podcast went about an hour and 45 minutes, you get a bit infuriated. So I got a lot to say. I'll have some fire on this video, but definitely will reserve a good deal of it during today's podcast. So let's see what Phil had to say on the Daily Wrap.
Before we got to that, we had a very important thing to talk about this morning on the podcast, the future of the current playthroughs that I'm playing. Because both Multiverses as well as Hades 2 are essentially receiving, how can I say, not very good attendance, not very good engagement, and not very good support on the streams that I'm doing of them. Notably, yesterday's streams, most people were complaining about Multiverses, saying it's not as good as Smash Brothers and I should drop it. And Hades 2 could barely retain like 170 viewers. The few people that were there were a few people who were engaged in talking with me, but a lot of them were just completely silent. And if it weren't for one person coming by and dropping a big contribution, it would have been a dead stream in that regards as well. So essentially, we had a big discussion this morning about it, okay? Everyone seems to have difference of opinion about various different things. Why isn't working? Should I continue with them or not? All right? Essentially, what we determined is that there's some other better games out there, or at least maybe not better, but different games out there right now that people might want to watch me play more. There's this horror game that's a throwback to PS1 horror called Crow Country that apparently came out about a month ago, not even. And people are saying it's highly rated, people are really enjoying it, and since they like survival horror that I do, that it would be a great game right up my alley. Another game that people presented was the System Shock remake that came out recently, saying that it's an outstanding game since I've never played it before as well, but it is the kind of like the precursor to games like BioShock. It would make sense for me to check that out. So, we kind of had this agreement that it sounds like Multiverses for now is going to go on the back burner and not be played anymore. As for Hades 2, that's still out in the open and kind of up for debate, but we definitely should start playing a different game at this point. So, we didn't come to that determination yet because we basically talked about this the entire stream. And of course, we had trolls and idiots coming in saying asinine, idiotic stuff. Like, for example, oh, it's not the games, it's you. If that's the case. If it's not the games, it's me. Then why is it that we have chill streams where it's just me talking to my audience for 2 hours and no game? We get attendance, we get support, and everyone's happy. Seems like when it's just me, people like it. It's not just me. The problem is right now what we have is a big issue in gaming. Right now, no giant AAA releases, no things that are bringing people collectively to my streams to watch me play. That will happen. For example, the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, you know people want to see me play that. But right now, there just haven't been any big, high-profile AAA games of any note. The ones that have come out are kind of not very crowd-pleasing, right? Watch.
All right, I gotta stop it because I'm literally sitting here and my head is itching. It is of fucking anger with this dude. Phil, yes, it's you. That example that you just cited shows that it's clearly you and not the game. Because you're doing something I guess the dents like when you have chill conversations with them. It's you. It's not because you're not playing a game. The logic jumps that this fucking guy does is just fucking massively annoying, to say the least. God. I'm getting already heated and angry at this dude. And I have a feeling that today is just going to be a lot of anger and annoyance with this motherfucker. It just is, because the shit he says and does is just beyond... Okay. This all started because on Saturday he got $35 for Multiverse, and then $53 on the night stream. Excuse me, he got $35 for Hades, and then $53. He ended up getting $53 for Multiverse, and apparently that's just not enough money for Phil. Even though he says, as long as he hits his tier 1 tip goal, it's a success. as far as I know, he's been hitting the tier 1 tip goal for most of his streams. So what's the fucking problem, Phil? It's almost like it's almost like a switch and bait, where you're lowering your dents into getting accustomed to tip you minimum $50 a stream, so that you can inch it up eventually. So then it's no longer going to be, well, $50 in tips per stream is good. It's going to move into, well, I'd like to get $100 at least one stream a day. And then he's going to try to normalize that. And then eventually, if he can, he'll move on and request 2 streams of $100 minimum. Everyone can see through your stupid little fucking game, Phil. Everyone can. And what infuriated me, I think, the most yesterday was his insistence that this had nothing to do with support. And yet literally mentioned support like 50 times. I got a video that I'm going to put together, part of my This Is How You Don't Lie series, where he actually snapped at someone who made that criticism, that made that specific criticism about Phil. And I'll get into that, because it just burned me when he can't acknowledge the fucking truth and sits here and says he's an honest dude. I'm an honest guy. No, the fuck you're not honest. You're a fucking code speak leader, and you try to fucking manipulate people, and that's why people despise you. That's why I hate you. I hate people that try to fucking pick people's pockets, because that's what you're doing, Phil. You're nothing more than a fucking televangelist on TBN, you know, telling his fucking people that the sky's falling, and that if they want to go to heaven, they need to buy you a Lear jet. That's what the fuck you remind me here, Phil. And your lies are just what burned me the fuck up. If you want to be a douchebag, own it. Be a fucking douchebag. At least I can say, well, he's a douchebag. Okay, let me move the fuck on. No, you're insisting that this is all about meaning and meaningful. It's just bullshit. It's all about money, Phil. And I can't stand that you sit here on your fucking throne of fucking hair and sweat and nastiness and act like you're above it all. You're not fucking above it all. How many times have you talked about, how many times do you fucking mention the word support? Support is give me money. That's what he's saying here. And what infuriates me is the fucking people like Jordan that infuriate me, that he does this shit, and then these are the dumbasses that come out and start fucking throwing cash his way. So what happened yesterday? Jordan came out, even though he even fucking said it in his tip. I'm sorry, Phil, I didn't support Hades, but I was sick, which means I guess he couldn't work. You got a fucking person here that feels the need to apologize because they can't give you money. And the funny thing was, he didn't even say, well, no, you shouldn't apologize. It's fine. If you can contribute, okay. If not, it's perfectly fine. No, he essentially sat there and said, well, I forgive you. I forgive you for not giving me fucking money. Fucking guy, man.
Jimmy play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and grinding away in an open world that's very repetitive isn't very entertaining. It's not ever going to be very entertaining. There's nothing I can really do about that. That's the kind of game it is. So that's just the state of the industry right now, right? Anyway, if you want to hear the entire full discussion, watch the podcast from this morning. There's a lot of important stuff there. And the fun part about that is the fans, actual fans of my content, understood where I was coming from and started immediately giving me constructive criticism. I've got a bunch of comments on the video that I really appreciate. So I'm listening to everyone. And tomorrow what I'd like to do on the show is talk more about that discussion and solidify, hey, what game are we going to play instead of multiverses, and talk more about Hades and do all of that, okay?
Oh, more fucking lies here. This guy's fucking delusional. He's the most delusional person. People on his fucking streams were specifically saying, Phil, no, you're not correct. Or they were telling him, they were giving him specific reasons why they weren't supporting Hades or whatever. Some of them said they just don't have the fucking money to support him, which is truthful. Some of them said, well, we asked you to play PC games how many years ago? And the people that probably asked you to play PC games probably are no longer there, Phil. Which is truthful. It's truthful. But not Phil. No, if someone asked Phil fucking 6 years ago to update his noise filter, and it took him 6 years later to do it, right? And he actually did it. He'll sit there and complain that, well, for years, how many people told me to fucking put in noise gates? I do it, and you're not supporting. Motherfucker, they've been asking you to do this for 6 fucking years. The people that probably asked for it are probably long gone. God, just this fucking guy, man. And all because he had a slow day. He had a couple slow days of support. Mind you, last week, he made $800 in 2 days during his marathon. And he can't understand the correlation of people get tapped the fuck out. And again, Phil, you sit here and you get annoyed that one person comes in and saves the day. That's all your fucking streams, Phil. You get one fucking dent to come out and drop cash. That's all it is. And if you don't have that one fucking dent, then you're gonna have slow support. Happened yesterday. You were at what, $25 till about 6:30 for your React content, and then one idiot came in. Who was it? It was Waffins, I think. Came in and got you to the tier 1 tip goal. That's every fucking stream, Phil. What happened yesterday? Yesterday you were fucking at $25 on your night stream, and you were begging, and one dent came in and dropped what, $50 or something like that on you? 2 $25 tips. One person. How many people supported yesterday? Maybe 2 or 3 people. That's every fucking stream, Phil. And you normally don't give a fuck, but when support's been slow for a couple days, then it becomes a problem. Again, just more fucking lies from this guy, man. It's just, he can't, every utterance, every other word out of his mouth had to be some fucking lie. Has to be some lie, because he has this fucking bubble around him. Because I think if he actually seriously looked at his life and really took a hard look and did some introspection of himself, he probably Minecraft himself, because he can't believe how fucking pathetic of a person he is.
Okay, so that was the whole podcast today. Then we moved over to DSP Reacks for the DSP versus the Internet Clips show. It went pretty well. Good variety of stuff today, notably talking about all kinds of things, like a plane disaster where people dipped and had insane turbulence, and people actually were injured, and one person died, and how that could happen. We talked about the Donald Trump indictment and my thoughts about that. We talked about all kinds of stuff, okay? And it was a good variety of stuff. Gaming, comedy, animation. Very good variety this week. And surprisingly enough, support was decent, which doesn't always happen. But support was pretty decent for the show as well, which I really appreciated. So it went pretty good. Tonight on the late stream, it was Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympics co-op. It was another 2.5 hours of retro react of that co-op. And listen, you want to talk about a night and day difference? Guess how many viewers we had on average tonight? Between 150 200. It's about the same as Hades 2, but here's the difference. Everyone was constantly talking. Everyone was engaging. Everyone was riveted at the gameplay that was going on. I was riveted. I was excited. And because of that, everyone's having a good time. Support was great. So everyone had a great time tonight. And again, you say, well, what is it? Is it Phil or is it the game? It's the game. Some games are just more engaging and fun to watch, I guess, and others aren't. So because it was a game that was engaging and fun, people had a blast, it went really well. Now, just so you know, we collectively agreed we're not going to do this again next week. Reason being, the Olympics, the real-life Olympics, are coming up at the very end of July of this year. It's early June. So why do all the Olympic stuff now? We basically have around 20 or so parts. I think it was 42 parts. We're at part 21. So we have like 21 parts left to go in the playthrough. Why not save those for when the actual Olympics are going on and actually do the next 2 streams of this game during the real Olympics? Kind of a no-brainer, no? So I think that's exactly what we're going to do when the Olympics are happening. People will come back to the channel and we'll actually do the conclusion of this Olympic playthrough for Retro React. In the meantime, a new poll has been posted up.
Ah, yes, that's right. The Olympics. The Olympics will save the business for our boy Phil. It's just fucking gimmicks with this guy. Every other fucking day, it's some kind of gimmick. That's what he's gotten to. This year is the year of gimmicks for him, because I think he finally realized it, that the support's just not there. His income is down about 30%. That's the honest truth. If you compare what he did last year to the previous year, he's down 30%. This year, he's trending at about 10 to 15%, and that'll just continue to increase. And I think he's realized it. And now that he realized it, he has to be curated more with his content. He can't just play the latest game or whatever, because one, he's dishing out money that he doesn't have for these games. And 2, he's just not getting the support. I mean, look at Final Fantasy and all the other games that he recently played that no one came out and supported. So it's all about the gimmickry. I mean, last night, again, he was at $25 for this John and Howard, or John and whoever the fuck his name is, co-op thing. He was at $25 the whole night. And then one whale came in, Waffins, I think, came in and dropped $50. Again, if it wasn't for Waffins, Phil would have lingered at $25 to $30 for this playthrough. And then he would have been annoyed and pissed off, and he would have wanted to wage quit this fucking thing. But since he managed to milk this for one more time, he's gonna bring it back when the Olympics come. That's right. He's gonna tie it in just like what he did with Fall Out. He's gonna try to tie it in with the TVs. It's just all fucking gimmicks, Phil. It's all gimmicks, and he's just throwing everything that he can. I mean, he tried the whole Fat Cat stream. That shit died. He's trying to now stream with that other guy. That's gonna fucking die. And I actually had an interesting conversation with the guy. He's on Twitch. And it's funny because he's already getting, it sounds like he's already getting shit for streaming with Phil. And I asked him a little bit about the whole co-op thing. And he said, it's not like we're friends. I just played a co-op with him. I mean, I just played some fighting games with him. And he literally said, I don't want to talk about Phil all night on this stream. So that little friendship is going to die eventually. Trust me, the guy's going to get tired of Phil's shit and move on. Or he's going to get tired of people talking about Phil in his streams. Anyway, that's all I have. I know there's another 2 minutes, but no one gives a shit. Don't forget, I'm going to be streaming today at 12 o'clock. If you like this kind of fire, you're going to get a little bit more of it today on 12 o'clock. Because I'm fucking heated with this guy. I'm going to play some of the clips of him just chastising the dents, treating them like shit. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun, folks. So definitely, if you guys have some time, check it out. And yeah, so that's the video, folks. Peace out.